Hey there, nerds. Jimmy here.
I'm James, if you didn't know.
And we have another Flashback Friday.
Woo.
This time we do go to the cold, the snow, with a little bit of out cold.
I'm sorry. This, I said it on our segment about One Crazy Summer, and I'll keep saying it. I miss comedies like this that are stupid to be stupid.
Now, this is definitely dated, early 2000s.
Which was what makes it funny.
And in my opinion, they were trying to make an 80s comedy with snowboarding.
Oh my
And I think they nailed it.
Oh, they did. They did.
Except that not many people have seen this movie. And I looked it up on Rotten Tomatoes, and it's like 26%.
Which is horrendous considering it's freaking funny. And the cast is brilliant. It's a really good cast.
The cast is amazing in that you have a young, well, not young, but early on in his career, David Koechner, who is freaking hilarious. You could say he's the narrator. Zach Galifianakis, who is absolutely hilarious. You have Jason London, who is brother of the other London, who can't snowboard, which is kind of funny because in the outtakes he doesn't do so hot. And you have, of course, Lee Majors.
I just want to know what inspired him to sign on to this movie. What on God's green earth made him think, yeah, I want to do that? Because he's so good in it.
It must have been the script, very tight.
Clearly.
Now, one of the things that we're I really always want to know, and not necessarily with this movie because it is a comedy, but on this one specifically, I'm like, I want to know what the original idea was, because the elder statesman Arquette, he was the Papa Muntz. He was going to be sort of the focus of the movie, but he died during production. So they had to basically redo it. And I think you can see a lot of impromptu scenes and improvisation going on, which makes it hilarious. But clearly the original idea is not what the end idea was. And I would love to know what that was. Yes. Except the movie's still highly entertaining. So
oh my God, it's brilliant.
I'm okay with that.
We here amongst the Palmquist clan have an inside joke that we believe the movie setting of Bull Mountain was in some part inspired by Boreal Mountain.
Which is where Allison works.
Yes.
They have similar statues, which is hilarious.
No joke, in the parking lot there's a statue of a dude on skis. And every time you see Papa Muntz, it looks exactly like that statue. Not to mention the fact that she speaks from experience when she talks about things that have happened.
A lot of similarities.
Yes, very much so. However, for the sake of this, we won't go into that too much. It is set in Alaska, Bull Mountain, and oh dear God, probably one of the best film openings of all time, just for a comedy ever, because you have it open with King of the Mountain.
Which is basically a race from the top to the bottom with beer, and whoever has the most beer and finishes first wins.
At
night.
Night. Some of this is brilliant. All of it is just absolutely perfect when you look at the comedic writing. I love this scene because you have all these stunt doubles who have to actively fail to snowboard, which is perfect. And the ending is so good because they're like, you don't have that much beer. He's like, and he spits it out, and it's like, okay, that's actually kind of brilliant. That's genius.
And we forgot to mention the female snowboarder.
Yes.
AJ Cook. She is a hottie. Always a big fan of hers. She's from Final Destination. She's in it, and she's a great part of this movie. We just have hilarity ensue. We have Roy from The Office.
Yes. Oh my God. When I saw that, I'm like, wait a minute.
And he is a very effeminate bartender who's always talking about the ladies.
I wouldn't even say effeminate. He's just gay. That's it.
Well, he eventually admits that. And comes out. Everybody knows that already. But yeah, he finally admits it to himself.
Yeah.
Along the way, it's basically the same storyline we've talked about before, where the townsfolk, the normal people, the everydays, get pushed aside as rich Mr. Daddy Warbucks, Lee Majors, comes into town and wants to polish turd and make it into Snow Nook.
Oh my gosh. Lee Majors as this character, that casting was impeccable because he plays the rich, jaded asshole so well.
And some of the other minor characters, Thomas Lennon, hilarious as always. I forgot the Papa Muntz's son's name, but he's from Sex and the City. I forgot his name. He's passed away. But he was great in his role as a sort of supporting minor guy. But essentially, it's just the ski school. And I don't know why in every sort of ski movie, the ski school is always the sort of degenerate weirdos. And the ski patrol are the assholes that everybody's trying to overthrow. Same here. So they basically find out the mountain's going to be sold. And they're like, hell no, we're not going to let this happen. So they destroy the day where Lee Majors is going to make this announcement. He's got his investors there, and they just bring out the townsfolk and make all hell break loose. And it's hilarious.
Oh my god! And the little things the townspeople do over the course of the film is brilliant. You have probably one of the best, which is they get the Zach Galifianakis character who's blackout drunk, just asleep, get him in his car, spin it around so it looks like he spun out, and he's like, oh god, oh god, oh god, they break him. That's a good one. One of my favorites is Air Supply's All Out of Love is playing, and like the party's over, and Zach Galifianakis' character's brother picks him up and like just swings him around like this, and it's like, what is going on? I mean, half the bits are just Zach Galifianakis' character getting shafted, which is funny because he also gets his ding dong licked by a bear.
And stuck in a hot tub.
Yes, which, nothing against my younger sibling. We watched it with her, so we had to skip through the hot tub scene. But what I saw was enough to reveal what it was about, and dear God, that is probably the funniest use of that I have seen. Not to mention the payoff for the joke.
When David Koechner shows up with a lime, he's got the shears, and he's like, and he's like, okay, you ready? Like,
which
wow.
implies Galifianakis' character got stuck in the jet. What? And
Hilarious.
oh my gosh.
Another hilarious part, and this is a major focus, but it's sort of the backdrop to the whole thing, is Rick, the main character. He had this 3-week vacation with this beautiful French woman at Pedro O'Horny's. And he's been pining after ever since, but she reveals to Rick that she has a fiance, and her fiance shows up, and Rick gets his buddies, and they're going to go kick his ass, and they show up at the van when he's coming out, and he rolls up in a wheelchair.
I would like to also mention that he was abandoned after they set up a tandem bicycle ride.
He rode a tandem bike by himself.
On the back seat.
That imagery by itself.
Why would you pick the back seat, dude?
But so the guy comes out in his wheelchair, and Zach Galifianakis is like, I'm not having second thoughts about kicking his ass.
I don't think I want to kick his ass.
And then, of course, his brother Pigpen is like, oh, I can't feel my legs. Bam! Did you feel that?
He can feel that. Oh my gosh. And it's
So stupid.
even better payoff. He can operate planes.
Oh, yeah.
And so
And
you
he's a
have this
doctor.
moment. You have this moment where he's flying a plane. He's going over they're ruining the investor meeting presentation Lee Majors' character has. And Lee Majors goes, what is Captain Cripple doing up there? His daughter looks at him like, and the comedic payoff for that is freaking amazing.
Now, I don't always notice the soundtrack to an irreverent comedy, but this soundtrack
Oh my
is
gosh.
awesome.
It's a really good
Eve Six
soundtrack.
and Weezer, two of my favorites. Was it Jake? I can't remember who sings the last song. He was in
Neither
the
do
Curious George movie, which was an amazing singer.
I know. Wait,
But
they had a
highly
Wei
recommend.
Chung song in there. They had Air Supply in there.
It's a great soundtrack if you get the chance.
Oh
check it
my
out.
gosh, it's
Check out the
really
movie.
good.
It is so underrated. It's hilarious. It's stupid. If you are uber PC, you're gonna hate it. But if you love not
But-
being PC,
I will say, if you
worth
are
it.
uber PC, go into it remembering it's a dated comedy, and that's what makes it funny. Also, come on, it's Zach Galifianakis and Lee Majors. Who would think they would ever be in a movie together?
and stay through the credits
Oh yes.
because they do the old school show the outtakes.
Oh, it's so freaking funny. It's a wonderful film. Go check it out, and make sure you yourself don't get knocked out cold. That was bad. That was bad.
Make sure you don't.
Note to editor Jimmy, cut that.